Hey, Chatty Patties. We are live behind the headlines. It is your girl, Chatty Patty. I am going to give everybody a few minutes to come on into the chat room, aka them comments. Y'all make sure you log in into the comments to let me know that you are here. Let your presence be known. Say, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And also tap those like buttons, the thumbs up. Let um let the sorry about that, y'all. I'm trying to log on from my phone so I can see what's all going on in here into the chat room. Trying to multi stream, see what exactly is happening. So I hope that y'all are having a beautiful Tuesday. Make sure when you come in that you hit the like. Make sure that you subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And also hit the notify link so that you can be notified anytime that we drop a new video. Now y'all, today we're gonna be getting into the Beyonce, the she's not paying songwriters, Well, let me stop that rumor. It's not that she's not paying songwriters, y'all. Basically, she's not paying them a livable wage, and she is taking publishing. That's what this whole thing is about. Her not fairly compensating them. And y'all, they say they want to be paid like Beyonce. They say she ain't even stepping in them rooms, and she's taking these people publishing. This lady is a billionaire, her and her husband, and taking people publishing. Now, is that a problem? Some people saying, y'all, Tiffany and all these other songwriters, they know what's going on. They know the deal before they come in and sign them contracts. They already, should have these kind of expectations because it's Beyonce who's singing the songs. It's Beyonce who's going on tour. It's Beyonce who got this big global brand, not the songwriter. But on the other hand, Tiffany is saying, y'all, we is writing the song. We giving you the lyrics to sing. We sometimes even producing the songs. And you make way enough and more money um through all your streams of income to make a livable wage. And these songwriters out here, they pouring their hearts and song into these lyrics and they can't even live. Baby, it's like they got the wage of a person busting down tables. And that is a problem. But for some people they say it ain't so. Some people say you already know what you're getting into. So what y'all want that to be? So that's what we're gonna talk about, y'all. And actually, normally you already know I kind of like cut the videos up for us ahead of time, and we play like all the important pieces. But today we're gonna listen to it together. Let's say it together. That's how we're gonna listen and hear exactly what she's saying. Now, even though we're gonna listen and hear it together, we already know people they're gonna say and believe what they want to believe. That's just the way of the world. But that's just the way that we're gonna break it down today. And we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it like that maybe from now on. I don't know. That's kind of how I envision maybe the lives going. And then I can maybe play it straight through for y'all if y'all want to on the video side. But we're just gonna kind of get the feel and see how we feel and how we want things to go. But um, y'all already know I'm gonna say it again for anybody coming through. Let me go ahead and tell everybody hi in the chat. Hi y'all. Oops, that was a big edit problem. Let me see. Let me redo that. Hey y'all, come on in the room. Join me live. Join me live. All right. So if you come into the room at any point in time, whether it's now or later, make sure that you engage with your girl because y'all, that's how we're building our platform. We're going to continue to talk about all this celebrity news, all the new stories, stay up on game so that we can report it to y'all. But in return, I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and like the video. Make sure that you comment the video and all that good stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and put up pull up my Cash App and stuff just in case you wanna, cha-ching. What's the sound of a register? I'm gonna have to give me some sound effects going on in case you wanna bless your girl because we do accept blessings, but we ain't gonna beg for them. We just gonna put it out there and let y'all get it, grab it, and send it if you want to. But so that I don't have to keep begging y'all, make sure that you go ahead and engage with your girl. Okay, that's gonna be our little exchange, but still send if you want to. All right, y'all. So we are talking about Beyonce and a lot of other people in the industry who are unfairly paying songwriters and how are they being unpaid, unfairly paid because Tiffany Red, who is an advocate for songwriters because she is a songwriter herself or a former songwriter for the industry, and she is saying that whenever it's time for them to do these sessions and for whenever it's time for them to work, they go in, present these songs to the artist or to their musical or CD director. I say CD, y'all. That's to let y'all know. I'm not the youngest chicken in the room, but the albums, whoever is these creative directors and stuff, they're presenting this for the body of work that's being created, and the song artists are taking percentages from the publishing, which means that whenever these songs are getting plays, um, and they're getting compensated on that back end, they're not really receiving no money. And y'all already know, baby, money talks. Cream, cash rules everything around me. And that's what the whole internet is on a buzz about. Now, y'all, who exactly is the lady Tiffany Red? Now y'all may know her because she is one of Cassie's friends, and she came out and wrote a letter about Diddy when the allegations and the settlement and stuff was already out there. And so she was one of the people who witnessed things that was happening behind the scenes, and she ended up writing Diddy an open letter about his treatment towards people throughout the industry. And she actually wrote that with Rolling Stone. Now I was gonna cover that, but you know how things go. Sometimes these other stories start to come in, and at that time, I ain't gonna lie, that next story about him and this unknown person who was filing a lawsuit, Jane Doe, came in, and so I just ended up having to skip that. Now let me tell y'all, if y'all look at the screen, you'll see I've been wanting to cover this story since 2/9. That's when February the 9th is when this first came across my desk. And I was like, oh, I need to talk about that because at that time, y'all know the Grammys had just went off the air and they was talking about Beyonce not getting album of the year and Jay-Z, basically he was crying and whining about her having the most Grammys, not getting, this well acclaimed award. Well, anyway, I had already seen Tiffany talking about it because I follow your girl because I love advocates who speak and give us knowledge. Like sometimes we take the knowledge and we just kind of like put it to the back burner or whatever, and whenever it's necessary, we're able to retract what we need. But this, in my opinion, was a very interesting topic, especially because at the time y'all already know Monique was out, and this to me is how I wanted to tie what Monique was saying, where she was like, "We calling people up." This to me is what Tiffany is doing. She's, and again, perfect example of, I'm not calling you out, I'm calling you up to do better for your people, because like a lot of people in the industry are saying with these gatekeepers, it's like these gatekeepers look like you, these gatekeepers look like me, if you know what I mean. Their skin color is not YT, if you know what I mean. It be the people that they say uh just because we are the same skin folk, they don't mean that we are the same kin folk. And so I've been wanting to cover this story, but it's been so much happening in the media that I just was not able to get it. Because as a growing channel, y'all, I really try to bring, things that may not be out because I don't want to muddy the waters with so much of the same stuff on the internet. However, at the same time, because I'm trying to grow, I have to try to stay in the algorithm. That's what I'm gonna call it, the algorithm. I'm trying to stay in the algorithm so that people could find me. And once we kind of build to, a good following and we have a lot of good support, then I can kind of build these stories that, may be on the lookout. Because again, like I told y'all, I've been wanting to cover this story, and it's been sitting in my phone on download since 2/9, but I wasn't able to get into it until now. And the first person that I saw covering it was, I think his name is AT2 or A2T, one of those. And I was like, I ended up commenting on his channel. I'm like, hey, I'm so glad that you ended up covering this because I've been wanting to cover it for a while. And I like to have my little stamps and receipts because, everybody these days think that everybody biting off of what they doing. When in reality, we all just trying to stay afloat. As content creators, we are trying to find ways to earn compensation for the time that we're spending. And as y'all know, baby, I like to put on a show. I don't like to just come up and just grab something, put it on the little green screen, one picture, and talk about it. No, I like to get my stuff together so that it could be presented in a way that people could know what I'm talking about, and it can create some level of engagement. So I take my time. That's why I'm not able to do 3 and 4 videos in a day because I don't have a team. I don't have the help to, well, not the help because that's the same as a team, but I don't have the ability and the speed to really just kind of do 3 4 videos to kind of hit the algorithm running and stay in the algorithm because I work and I create content. But nonetheless, let's stay on topic. We're talking about Tiffany Red. Now, I told y'all she is an advocate, and she is an advocate for songwriters. And with her advocacy, she has this nonprofit called 100 Percenters that's on the fight to allow songwriters to keep their publishing, because although the artists are singing the song, they're promoting it, different things like that, these are the people who are writing and creating the songs for them. And no matter how big the song gets, if you're taking a percentage of the song, you're taking money out of their pocket. And that's the only way that they're earning money as songwriters. And currently, there are no unions like the writers in Hollywood and, like, all those um different parts of the entertainment agency that actually have unions to advocate and support their movements. This area in particular don't have that, and so that's what she's trying to create and let everybody know that these people are definitely exploiting us and the practices need to change. So the reason why she called Beyonce out in general is because she is, again, like she said in her video, Beyonce is one of the greatest artists of our time. And if somebody could speak against this and change their practices, Beyonce is the person to do it, because not only does she have the money and the resources to not take these people publishing, but she also speaks about a lot of time, girl power, black power. So if that's what you're going to speak to, let that be what you stand on through and through, not just as a message, not just to look good in front of your audience, but let that be what you stand on the 10 toes down. And in order to do that, you have to preach what you say. I mean, you have to stand for by what you preaching. And her saying, like, freedom, freedom, I can't lose. Yeah, I just be liking to be silly. I told y'all that's why I be like, doing my little hums, ones, and twos, but I can't really sing. I wish I could. But anyway, um, yeah, so these people saying that they can't be free. How could she be singing a song like that when she not even living in that truth? Because she is taking money from these people. Now Tiffany Red, she also have I have the video set up for us to get into, because like I told y'all, we're gonna watch it together and we're going to dissect everything that she's saying, because she wants people to know, again, this is not an attack on Beyonce. It's just the practices that she does in her business, which is, even though is lawfully okay, just because it's lawfully okay, that don't mean that it's necessarily ethical, and that don't mean that it should be permitted, because if a person is doing a job, they should be highly compensated. And I know that she just went live like an hour ago, and one of the things that she was talking about was the, what did she say? Something along the lines of what did she say? I can't even remember. It was like at the forefront of my brain, but I can't even remember. But the things that she was saying, it very much so makes sense. And so if you're gonna be about it, be about it. Now, people, I saw in the comments when she first started going viral on like Hollywood Unlocked, they were saying, well, you just shut yourself out, or you about to get sued and stuff like that. But the thing to remember is she is no longer a songwriter, and she stopped being a songwriter due to things like this, because she's an advocate, and she wants people to be fairly paid, and she's done all that she can do thus far before coming on the internet. And when she came to the internet, it was more so to kind of let it be known that, hey, I done the protest, I done stood outside of Sony, I done stood outside of Tidal, all these large corporations. They already know what's going on, and they know the fight. And so therefore, a lot of the people who are behind the scenes, they already know what these songwriters want. But she don't really have a large backing behind her, because the other songwriters a lot of times are in the NDA. And people like Beyonce, like she said, she in her live today, she had a copy of one of the NDAs from Beyonce, and she was like, "It's ironclad," meaning that there's no way that you can speak about what's going on when you're working with her, because you could get sued, and not only will you get sued, but then you'll end up being blackballed. Now, is she blackballed? She says she's not, because she still gets calls from people to write songs for her. Now, what kind of songs? I don't know, but I did see that she's worked with a lot of different artists over the years. And some of those people that she's worked for and she's received, or who have taken publishing from her, or some of the ladies like Tamar Braxton, Zendaya, Seven Streeter. Now, if you heard in her video before, she was like, that one really, really hurt it when Seven wanted a percent of her publishing. And I believe it's because, like she say, Seven is a writer herself. And so it's like you should be a part of the whole fight and the struggle. You know what it's like to only be eaten off of what you writing and your creative talents, your IPs, and for somebody to be a part of the struggle. But once you kind of climb into the bed with the mainstream artists, you start to follow those same practices. And it's like, what are we doing here? Now, she wrote, I think, 3 songs for Zendaya, the popular one being Replay, and 2 songs for Tamar, the popular one being King. And for Seven, I'm not really sure how many she wrote, but I know she speak of one. So I'm thinking that she did one, because I looked it up. Now, if this information is wrong, blame it on Google, because that's where I got the information from. I got it from the Google track list, because if you actually go on Tiffany website, then you'll see all the different songs that she's worked on. And when I went and looked at it, I saw that she did songs for J Hud as well as Fantasia. Now, y'all, she was talking about the other 3 that I mentioned, because they are taking publishing from these songwriters. But she didn't talk about these people who she worked with, who are Jennifer Hudson, who has a pretty mainstream audience, because she does daytime TV and stuff now. Plus, she's an actress in Fantasia. And so these are the songs that she's written on. And it looks like, y'all, I'm happy to report, according to Google, according to Google, y'all, it don't look like they took any percentage of her publishing. Now, I'm not a songwriter, I'm not in the industry, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I can see based off of what is reported from Google. They have her and not themselves, um importantly, not themselves listed as a person who took publishing. So yeah, I think that that's a good thing. Some of the people who you may think maybe are not so good people, or they may not be as big as you think that they should be. But it's good to know that some people are good people, and what they present themselves to be, they are. Now, I'm not saying that this is the case in every situation, but I'm saying that, hey, she did not name them. And from what I'm seeing based off of what is on the internet, they did not take her publishing. And I think that that's a good thing. So, y'all, if that is the case, make sure y'all support them people, because it is good to see again that people are nice people. They're doing what they say that they would. Are they representing themselves to be who they really are? And um, they a lot of times have been in the struggle, and since they are in the struggle and a part of the struggle, they try to do what's right by people. So um, stream those songs too, because maybe the songwriters who got the whole percentage of what they ended up writing on the song for, maybe they'll get some coins. So the song that she wrote for J Hud is Invisible, and that's on, I believe, her first album. And then the song that she wrote on for Fantasia is Side Effects of You, and the song is called Supernatural Love. Now that was my CD. Baby, I love me some Tasia Wasia. And that's a good song. It's number one. I really like it. Um and yeah, y'all should definitely check it out. And I hope that that is the case, because I am putting that information out there, and Lord knows I hope it is right. So we're about to go ahead and get into what exactly Tiffany said, because I think that it is important to not only listen to what she said, but hear what she's saying, and not to get things misconstrued. Because again, she's calling out Beyonce not because she personally wrote for Beyonce, because she has not. And I think some people are missing that. And it's not that she wants to work with Beyonce, because she doesn't, due to her business practices. She's basically calling her up to do right and to do better by these creators, because the songwriters are creators. She just want her to do right by these creators, and if somebody like Beyonce can change her business practices, then people could look at her as a blueprint. And I also think that what it is doing is calling her out to see if on this next album that she's about to get ready to release, this ain't Texas. Woo! Um, I think that that's gonna, it's gonna start to be a telltale sign to be if to see if she's hearing and listening what people are saying, and how they're calling her up to do better by the people that she's working with. Because again, she's a billionaire, her husband is a billionaire, and therefore she can afford not to be taking these people publishing. Now we're gonna go ahead and start the video, and as we get through the video, like I told you, we're gonna be starting and stopping so that we can talk about it. So let go. That was supposed to be like the beat to Chris Brown song Lego. They talking about us in the club. They can't even get in the club. However it go, y'all. I be acting silly, but here we go. Uh, wait, am I play? Wait, let me make sure that the volume is up on it.
Okay, so yesterday I posted some commentary on the conversation around Beyonce and album of the year. And so I just want to clear some things up real quick. So my name is Tiffany Red. I am a songwriter, a Grammy winning songwriter. I have been writing songs for 17 years. I've been in the music industry my entire adult life. I'm the founder of the 100 Percenters. I run a nonprofit, and all I do is advocate for the compensation of songwriters. Why? Because I was a songwriter and I walked away from the music business because of the things that I speak about. So I have extensive experience. Almost all of my friends are in the music industry and write for your favorite artists like a Beyonce. So I'm not up on the internet just talking shit and like, making things up. I'm not stupid. I ain't trying to get sued. That's called defamation. I'm not defaming anybody. I am coming to y'all with things that I can back up. I don't never get on this platform and talk about shit I don't know. I be having, you see this? You see this thing? I am organized, honey. Okay. Y'all might not think that because you watch me on the internet and you don't know me like that for real. You only know the front facing Tiffany Red, but like, I got a brain. Okay. Secondly, almost every artist that I have ever written for has gotten publishing on the record. Almost every record that I have done, I have written when the artist was not in the room. I'll go through my own songs. Replay. Zendaya got 10% of the publishing, I think. She did not write on the song. She didn't. That song was written at a Rihanna song camp. It was on hold for Rihanna. Then it was on hold for Rita Ora. Famous came to me and said, yo, Tiff, there's this artist named Zendaya. We should cut Replay on her. So Zendaya got publishing and writer credit. She did not write on Replay. King by Tamar Braxton. I wrote and produced that song. I wrote that song for myself as an artist. In my living room. Tamar got, I don't know what she ended up getting. I think I own like 85% of that song. But I should own all of it because I did all of it. She didn't write shit. Seven Streeter, who's a songwriter. This one really hurt my heart. Seven Streeter, Just Being Honest. Me and Mansour did that song. It was originally called Bitch. I wrote that song by myself. I'm not even really a big co-writer like that. I prefer writing songs by myself because I don't know. I just prefer to write like that. So I have a lot of records that I have placed that either have one co-writer on or that I've written solo dolo, right? Seven ended up with 10% of that record. I fought like hell for her to not have any of the publishing because she didn't write anything on it. Publishing is my only source of income. I didn't even, and by the way, none of the artists that I've mentioned have a career anything close to in music Beyonce. None of.
So see, that's what she's saying and talk about. So that's specifically why she's calling out Beyonce, because although she's worked with Seven Streeter, um she's worked with what you call her. She's worked with Zendaya. She's worked with Tamar. However, their catalog and their level of artistry is not to the level of Beyonce. So what she does is she brings Beyonce in because just they're practicing the same business practices that she is, and they're playing about the same game. So let's get rich off of people who are already barely getting paid. So that's why Beyonce is getting brought in, because if they could strike the match with Beyonce, then they can probably find ways to then be able to work and negotiate with people whenever it's time for them to present their catalogs and do the songwriting.
None of them do. But the reason why I'm bringing up my experience with every artist or almost every artist that I've worked with that has taken publishing that they did not earn on the songs that I wrote for them is because there is a precedent that's set. The reason why I called out Beyonce is because Beyonce is the Michael Jackson of our generation. And so if there's anybody that could reshape the precedent, if there's anybody that could influence the industry, that had the power and the money and the cultural like thing to say, you know what, y'all, you're right. These songwriters have been out here. We've been in the street, literally. I have been in the street in front of Spotify. I've been in front of Universal. I have sat and I have talked to all y'all publishers. I've talked to y'all publishers. I talked to the DSPs. I talked to the copyright royalty, the U.S. Copyright Office. I talked to NMPA. I talked to RIAA. I talked to SONA. I talked to NSAI. I talked to all of them. And guess what? Y'all are still broke. Okay? That's the fucking truth, right? Okay? So the people that are like, oh, this is not true. I had somebody call it propaganda yesterday. It's not fucking propaganda. The reality is there is no A-list artist, B-list artist, or C-list artist that's not taking publishing, because that is the way the music industry works. And to deny that is delusional. And what I will not allow is for anybody to make me feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, because I know I'm not in the Twilight Zone. I can pull up my records. I talked to somebody yesterday, somebody's a manager of somebody who is a writer and producer on Renaissance, okay? The record is one of y'all faves. The song was written 6 years before it got to Beyonce.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause it right there. Let me know what y'all think that song is. Leave that in the comment. What song off of Renaissance do you think was written 6 years ago by a songwriter, and it was actually ended up being placed on Beyonce's Renaissance album? It'll be interesting if you know. Drop it in the comments.
She got 25% of the song. I've talked to another writer who wrote and sang on one of your favorite songs. Credit not right, all kind of shit fucked up. His business still isn't handled. Beyonce was on tour last year with that record, with that person's vocals, all that. I'm not crazy. And here's the thing. The reason why people who work for Beyonce don't talk is because they're all on NDAs. Because that's also how she works. She silences people so that nobody can speak. I'm not a writer that's written for Beyonce. I haven't shot my shot at Beyonce because I'm not willing to give her any publishing. Not because I haven't had the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to work with everybody. And I've turned down a lot of stuff because I'm not willing to play these games. There's a massive power dynamic happening. Please don't act like it's easy to negotiate with Beyonce and her team, because it is not. If that was the case, there would not be so many people coming to me like, Tiff, this is how much was taken. Shit is not negotiable. It's not. These are the terms, which means, okay, cool, then we work for you, Beyonce. So that means you're an employer. But either way, to imply that the artists do not have to be responsible for the business practices that they exercise with songwriters, to insinuate that the only way you are treated fairly is if you are managed by one of the gatekeepers is bullshit. It's bullshit. You shouldn't have to be in company with a gatekeeper to be treated fairly. You should not have to have a gatekeeper on your team to make a livable wage off of music that is making people billionaires.
So that's the only way apparently that you're able to fairly get compensated for your correct amount of publishing is if you are associated with a gatekeeper, because they're able to negotiate these deals. And just being a popular songwriter isn't enough to be able to negotiate, because a lot of times what she's saying is they're expecting you to come into the situation knowing that you cannot negotiate nothing, because a lot of times people don't try to do it because they figure that they're going to miss their opportunity. And we already know stuff like this is what people dream and work for one day, to be able to work with somebody like a Beyonce. Why? Because they feel like it's going to create additional opportunities. So you might say, okay, I'm not going to worry about her taking 25% of this song, because if that could land me on another song or uh another artist's album, then I can potentially be able to make way more than that. And that's just something that we do as content creators too. Like, say for instance, we want to collaborate with somebody, and or we might want something to be featured on somebody's page, and they might say, okay, well, I want you to pay. I want to charge you this, and you just say okay, because you look at it as an opportunity of what it could potentially bring. So you're not worried about what you're missing out on, but in reality, that 25% that they're missing out on, it could do something and it could not do something. She's gonna also speak about how sometimes, these people are in the studios writing and getting Grammys and it don't pay the bills, but they wish and hope for opportunities like that because they want that opportunity to now work in their favor in order to create another opportunity. Even though that Grammy is not going to do anything, but it's going to highlight your name and it's going to say Grammy Award songwriter or nominated songwriter. And so that becomes a part of your resume so that you can then shoot your shot and hope the next time they don't take 25%, because if you're a good songwriter, you're going to help them get that Grammy. And you already know how this industry works. And so that's what she's saying. So continue to pay attention. We're going to keep talking about it.
Them Grammys don't pay the bills. Those plaques do not pay the bills. There are people with Grammys and plaques who can't pay their rent. I know people who are super accredited, broke. It means nothing.
And sometimes, y'all, that's how I believe they gaslight you, because they can tell you, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and take 25% off this one. And next time when we work together, we'll only take 15. Then after that time, we'll only take 5. And, they try to act like from that one opportunity is going to then allow them to kind of allow you to negotiate after that. Now, I don't know that to be the case, but I could definitely very well see that happening, because that's kind of the same thing that they were speaking on in terms of Taraji and Monique, when they say like they play in your face because they tell you this up front to gaslight you, to get you to say yes to the situation, knowing that it doesn't really work like that. And until you have somebody like a Beyonce, somebody like a Taylor Swift. Now, I don't know if Taylor Swift practiced these same business practices, but I'm just saying in terms of being a global musician, somebody like these people who have billions of dollars in tours, until people like that start to change, then there's no way the people who are under them that are changing. Because again, if you heard her, she said that people who are not only A-list celebrities are taking percentages, but B and C-list celebrities are taking percentages of people publishing. And so it became the norm to where if a person like Beyonce could do it, then I can do it. And if a B and C a B-list person say I think that they can do it, a C-list person think that they could do it, because as your name starts to grow, you start to be seen in a different light. And she say B and C list, not to be disrespectful, but just to be realistic, like the level of the level of connection and audience and stuff that they have is not on the same globe and scale as a Beyonce. And being that they're not even that big, they're even in the same practices. But if you're in this part of the entertainment world, 9 times out of 10, you're a fan of somebody like Beyonce, and you or she can rewrite the way that things are being done so that people underneath her can follow her.
Trust me, I know. I remember having a conversation with a writer who wrote on what was the record Beyonce did after or before Renaissance? I can't remember whatever the record was. I remember talking to one of the writers and talking to them about how much of the publishing she was taking. And this writer was like, "Look, Tiff, I don't want no smoke with me. Like, I just let her take the publishing." That's bullshit. How much all of these writers that you guys see celebrating in the studio with these artists posted up in pictures like, yeah, everything is all good, those writers are being exploited. Those writers' time is not paid for, their services are not paid for, their contribution to the sound recording is not paid for, their first use of the copyright is not paid for, their fucking parking is not paid for.
And that's because y'all, they're looked at as minions. They're just looked at to help this songwriter, or I'm sorry, they're just looked at to help this artist develop what it is that they're envisioning for their project. So that's what she's saying, y'all. Like, we are low on the totem pole. We're not even respected enough to be brought lunch while we sitting up in here bopping to these beats, talking to these producers, because that's another thing. The engineers are being paid and compensated for their time and their work. The directors who are in here, a lot of these composers, they're not the songwriting part, but like maybe the people who are on the other end of creating, they're all being paid, but the songwriters are not, who are the actual people who creates the song, not in its entirety, however, but in terms of what you hear, because they have to be able to write to the beat. They have to be able to understand the artist. They have to be able to understand the concept for the album and the track that they're creating. So that's what she's saying. We're not even looked at or respected well enough to get our parking paid for, which is like $25, $50.
Their fucking lunch is not paid for. That's the truth. The truth is that we work in an industry that proclaims it makes billions of dollars but can't even buy you fucking lunch. But I'm tripping. But I'm tripping. No, they're tripping.
Now, y'all, it wouldn't surprise me if somehow miraculously somebody ends up coming out to talk about their experiences with a person like a Beyonce or like a Tamar or whomever, talk about their experience when working with that person, because we all usually hear the same thing. Now, you may not hear it so much directly, but they'll be like, "Oh, I love working with this person," and yes, they fed us lunch or whatever. Like, kind of start dropping some stuff like that to make their experience seem so grand, because it's going to be to dispute some of the things that are being said. And you already know that's how it goes, because once somebody starts to speak out against what they like in the practices that are being done, then they're going to try to counter it. Sometimes not directly, but they'll use people to do it indirectly, to be like, "Oh no, that's not how we work over here, baby." One and the same, okay?
And you're tripping if you with them. There's people that are like, "Then nobody had no gun to your head." The gun to your head is the power dynamic. Think critically, y'all. The gun to your head is the power dynamic. The gun to your head is your livelihood. The gun to your head is being excluded and ostracized and retaliated against for even trying. That's the gun to your head.
So there's no physical gun that people are using, of course, to tell these people they have to write songs, but the environment that's being created around them and around the industry and of itself, like, "Oh no, you're not supposed to talk about this. You're not supposed to get all of your publishing, even though you wrote the song in its entirety." Like, it starts to psychologically mess with you, because you start to think that you're unable to ask for the things that you want as that person, because if somebody like you try to go up against somebody like Beyonce to cut the publishing or to ask her not to take publishing, she's probably not going to work with you because we already know she want that publishing because she want to continue to generate income for herself. But in addition to that, it's going to be probably telling people like, Kelly Rowland, who is a person who's very close to her in the music industry, and all these other people who are producers, not to work with you. And they may not say necessarily like in the Monique situation, don't work with her per se, but oh, this person, they don't allow you to take publishing. So what does that say in your mind? Because you already know how the game go. You know you want that publishing from them because that's gonna be a part of your income from this album. So what that's gonna do? Okay, well, we're not gonna even consider that person. And so you're gonna continue to not get considered and to consider and continue to not be on the list as a person to work with. So that's what she's saying. That's the gun, the power dynamic of what they have and what their name is and what their name brings to a person like you in your catalog. That's the struggle of power because you, the little guy, the little person, are going up against somebody kind of like a little mom and pop supermarket versus a Walmart. Like when you hear the name Walmart, you're gonna already know what that's like, and you want to be able to be in that position and to get the benefits from working from Walmart. Versus if you're a mom and pop type of shop, then it's like, okay, we're not gonna try to do as much because we know we're competing with Walmart, but we're gonna try to just be quiet so that we can stay on the market and people not stop shopping over here.
They don't need to put a gun to your head anymore because they control everything. That's the gun. You being silenced, that's the gun. And the thing that burns me up the most about Beyonce, and this is why I'm speaking about her specifically, is because Beyonce is Queen Bee. Beyonce is a Black artist. Beyonce represents black excellence. Beyonce's team, like the people who work with her, these writers that I'm talking about that are exploited, are they're us. You know what? It's so funny because when I think about my own
Just because they your skin folk don't mean they your kin folk. Uh-huh.
career and all the people that have fucked me over, it's been my own people. Because those are the opportunities I had to work with my people. And this business is a racist business.
And why do you think that is if you just sit and think about it? So it's basically saying that we still have the mindset of a crab in a bucket. Because if you somebody like Beyonce and you taking from somebody who have even less than you in the financial aspect, in the financial realm, you're taking this from them. Why? Because you don't want them to have more than you. You want to be the person who continues to stay on top, which again, that's the power dynamic. They want you to continue to suffer and not be able to cross over to be in that stream because then they start to compete. They're able to compete against you. Like even think about it from the aspect of like Rihanna. I believe Rihanna became a billionaire before Beyonce. Now given that's because at the time, Rihanna was managed at the beginning from, Rock Nation and stuff, and Beyonce didn't cross over until like years later. But if she was if somebody like Rihanna was underneath Beyonce, do you think that she would make a way for her to potentially make more than what she makes so that she can, cross over into some of those historic, you know, um, history making charts first? Think about it. It's still, it's she's saying that we still even on that high of a scale have a crab in a bucket mentality. To me,
So if you're Black, you're usually put in R&B and hip hop with artists that are black, creatives that are black, executives that are black. And you know what sure people do to you? The same thing that white people do to you.
So they just made the black people, they made the black people do the dirty work for you, basically. Because, the white people at the end, they always wanted to be seen as like saviors. And if the bad news can come from the black person, it could be seen as the black person is doing it. When all the while the black person is carrying out the orders. And they just doing what they see, the white people to do. And so they just carrying it instead of changing the narrative and changing the dynamic so that everybody could win, because y'all always say everybody say it's enough out there for everybody. Well, if it's enough out there for everybody, why everybody continue to block everybody that look like them?
And we pedestal them like goals. That is not fucking goals. Capitalism is not goals. That shit is not cute. Capitalism is rooted in chattel slavery. That's the foundation of capitalism. To be a billionaire, you have to exploit labor. That is not the shit.
Now bring it back to Diddy, kind of let you know that she right. Remember when he was sued by his chef, saying that he wasn't really paying. He was trying to pay this lady like $2 an hour when they come down to like we don't work 16-hour days, and talking about paying this lady minimum wage, really under minimum wage, like because they start to try to create the way to make you think like, oh, it's an opportunity. You can have somebody like Diddy on your resume at the time before he was, I don't even know what to call him now besides Power Bottom House. Um, if you can have somebody like that on your resume, like that's prestigious. And so think about all the opportunities it's gonna create for you. That's the mindset they try to put you and keep you in.
It's fucking disgusting, is what it is. My comments about Beyonce not winning album of the year and me saying, you know what, maybe karmically it's not coming to you because of the way that you're doing creatives. I meant that with everything in me. I hear the racial discussion and all the things, and I think that that has its place. But this has its place too. It does. And they all can exist. Beyonce could absolutely reform her business practices. Beyonce could absolutely reform Parkwood's business practices. It's a decision. It's a fucking choice. It's a choice to take 25% of publishing that you didn't earn. That's wage theft. That's what that is. That's bullying. That's abuse of power. That is the power dynamic. That's the gun. People out here think they're going to lose their opportunities, lose their jobs, lose their relationships, lose everything trying to negotiate. And y'all fucking know that shit. And to act like that's not the case is so, like, for me, like, that's the shit that gets me riled up. Like, people are always like, oh my God, why are you not scared? Because I'm fucking mad. What you're not going to do is crazy, because I know I'm not crazy. I'm a songwriter. I have lived this. My friends around me live this still. I hate it for them. There are artists that are A-list artists that can lead the charge here too. I'm not saying wait on Beyonce. I'm not. But I am going to say what I need to say about it, because for the last almost 4 years now, I have had so many writers come to me about her specifically.
So what she's saying is like, there's other people doing it. She's aware of that. But, over the years, Beyonce specifically is who her songwriter friends are talking to her about. And again, you cannot deny the influence that she has on not on only the world, but the working places and the areas that she steps foot in. Because a lot of times, and especially somebody of her magnitude, she can say, "Oh, I want to specifically work with this person. I'm not doing a deal unless this person is a part of this project, and whatever they need and want, make it happen." That's what she's talking about.
And I also want y'all to know that, like, I'm not the kind of person that comes to the internet first. I come to the internet last. I come to the internet at the end when I tried everything else I could try. So trust and believe on the back end, I've been doing a lot when it comes to this conversation and who I'm having conversations with and how and all the things. So I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. And nothing has gotten done. People splits still aren't done. People still aren't getting paid. People still aren't being seen. People still aren't being heard. People are still being silenced. People are still under NDAs and some more shit.
So what she's talking about when she's saying like the splits, basically like the percentage of the songs that are being wrote. Now I saw this interview with Candy Burris a few months ago, and one of the things that she was saying is she don't write with more than one person because she knows that you know sometimes when other people are in the room, they could add two words or whatever and try to fight for a percentage of that publishing. And now it's all making sense and why it's so crucial because the more people are digging at it, it's not like you get a whole lot of money from it, but the money that you do make, if it's a popular song and it continues to be played, those splits, it really means something. And the more people that's listed on there as a creator of that song, they're gonna get more money from it. And so, yeah, I can't remember who I don't know if it was an interview or if it was maybe just like a live. I think it was a live. And I don't know if she was talking to somebody like waiting to talk and do an interview with maybe like somebody like a scissor or maybe like a who was a Money Long. I think that's who she was waiting to talk to because at the time, I mean, still she's very popular, but that song hours and hours and hours. That song was really really hitting the charts, and I think she was about to do an interview with her because, as y'all know, Money Long, she started out as a songwriter before she became a public artist. Um, and a lot of times that's how they start out. They're artists themselves. A lot of times that are writing a song, but sometimes they choose not to be in the spotlight because of the way the industry go. But it seems like you're gonna get messed up by the industry one way or the other. It just depends on how bad you want to take the mess up.
While Jay-Z's up there on Sunday talking about why it's not fair Beyonce don't got a Grammy for Album of the Year. So hell yeah, I had something to say. Because it's hypocrisy. Also, not for nothing, Taylor Swift is a songwriter. She writes.
So that was kind of like the little shade, basically like Taylor Swift. Yeah, she won an album of the year every year. However, baby, Taylor Swift pick up the pen and put it to the paper because she writes and writes. Baby, Taylor Swift says she is an artist, and I think that's why people, in addition to the monetary gain that it brings, I think that's the reason why also people want to be listed on their songs because for some reason I think that it makes them be seen as a real artist. Kind of like if you think about it, sometimes like how some artists they can sing but they can't dance, or they can sing but they don't write, or they can sing but they can't play an instrument. They're in their mind are seen as like the total package in the actual artist if they are writing these songs, if they're a part of composing these songs, and so they want to be listed because although they may come up with the concept in the direction of which they want to go, they want to be seen as the person who actually did this album or did this project from beginning to the end, as well as being seen as a real artist. Because back in the day, that's what they consider artists, like people who played the instrument, people who wrote the songs, people who performed the song, like in its totality, that's how you were seen as an artist. And I think that nowadays it really honestly don't matter if you're writing your own songs, just kind of like the same way as, these people on the internet are becoming overnight successes. Like the standards and stuff has changed so much that although it is attached to money, I don't think that it should be attached to, your level of an artist, because you might could sing and you might could dance, but you might not write. And I would not be surprised if I learning that Beyonce isn't a writer, because when you think of somebody again of her magnitude, you think of the busy life that she has. I don't think that she's sitting over there writing in no damn diaries and writing about what she gonna be singing about. She might come up with a concept, but I'm not surprised that big artists necessarily aren't writers. Now, somebody like Taylor Swift, it may be different, but I also think it's because of her genre. And also, I don't see Taylor doing a lot of different things. Like when you see these BLK artists out there, baby, they is grinding. They got they foot in acting, they got their foot in singing, they got their foot in in affiliation marketing campaigns. They like everywhere, in addition to trying to be career and family women, right? So somebody like Taylor, it wouldn't surprise me that she is a writer, because again, she plays the guitar, and when you have an instrument that you play a lot of times, that go hand in hand, because once you have the melody, you kind of start to invoke on feelings that are um are drawn up from the music that you're creating. So I don't think that is a big deal. So they don't really need to be listed in taking these people publishing, in my opinion.
Writes her albums. Yeah. That's all I had to say about that. I'm going to go back to my day. I wanted to have this quick vent so that y'all can hear me out. Um, and so that the people out there can hear me out who are, who have the commentary going on right now, because I'm definitely getting the messages. I'm definitely getting the, did you see that? I'm definitely seeing the, like, let me set the record straight. Put the splits on the table. Set the record straight. Pull the email chain. Set the record straight. I like facts. I showed y'all my thing. I like facts. Show me the splits. I can show y'all my splits, and I can show y'all the artists that are on my splits that got publishing that they didn't earn. Yeah, I didn't think so. Y'all have a lovely day.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I got kind of mixed up there because this is my first time really doing that little share my screen thing, but I don't think I'm doing that no more. So y'all was able to hear it directly, and I'm glad we was able to sit and listen to it together so that we could dissect and see if we're hearing the same things. Again, it has nothing to do with her specifically working with Beyonce and her experience directly, but it is the experience of her, and I mean is the experience of her friends who are co or who are songwriters as well, and they talk to her. So the whole thing of calling Beyonce out was really about calling her up so that she can then influence the practices of others. Because guess what? If this songwriter say, "Man, I work with somebody like Beyonce and she ain't even take my publishing," then you might be able to start to set some standards. And if more people have standards throughout the industry as songwriters, then you know, other people will probably end up conforming, but you're not gonna even have to conform that hard if you know the practices of Beyonce. So y'all, baby, when that on This Ain't Texas, woo, CD come out, I'm be looking at them. I'll be looking at them writer credits to see who is listed. And baby, if that B to the I to the C is on there, I'm gonna hope that she really wrote it. Because I think the way that they do it, y'all, is a lot of times if that name is at the top, most of the time it's like that person have like the most percentage of the songwriting credit. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but baby Beyonce always first on hers. So now back in the days when it used to be like Destiny's Child and stuff, it used to be like, B Cox and people like that, and then they kind of come after that. But that's how I always thought it was. But I don't mind if y'all correct me and if I'm wrong. Hey, give me more information so I could grow. But that's all I have for y'all. Let me know if there's anything else. Um, Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, yeah. Y'all let me know if there's anything else. If y'all have anything that y'all want to add. Again, if you come into the chat room um later, then definitely don't be afraid to get into those comments. Let me know your thoughts. Even if you think something differently, I like to know what your thoughts are and why you think that way. And if Beyonce, if she is right and she should be able to take some of these publishing because who she is. If that's how you feel, let me know so we can talk about it in the comment. I definitely don't go back and forth in the comments. Sometimes, I might comment and I may say something or whatever, but it's definitely not from a upset that someone thinks differently than me. It's more of a like, oh, okay, well, what about this? Like trying to share perspective, but not trying to create an argument because, baby, we is in a we're in a no fight zone, baby. Everybody got the right to speak their mind and feel how they want to feel. So definitely leave your opinions. Definitely give me your thoughts. Definitely make sure that you share and like the video. Also subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification bell. And again, I already know y'all are gonna love it here. So just go ahead and subscribe and interact with your girl. We're trying to build a community of great supporters and great connectors so that we can continue these conversations. And again, I love to go live behind the headlines because it gives people the opportunity to join in on the conversation and not just, portray one side of a narrative. So that's going to be all for now. And until next time, bye bye.